People that I grew up with, people that had a very big impact on my life, on my growth development as a young kid. So it means a lot to be able to play in front of them one more time.
Did you grow up an Aggie fan or a Cougar fan?
We were always going to the games, playing at the games and stuff like that. I was more of an Aggie basketball fan than any sport in particular up there. But at the same time, I have a lot of friends there. I have a lot of family in the area, and so yeah, I have some Aggie blood in me for sure.
Can you talk about the atmosphere and what you guys expect to be a part of on Friday?
It's one of the hardest places to play in the western half of America, honestly, because the fans are so dialed in. The fans are so rigorous. The fans are bought into what they're doing, and so it makes it tough. They're going to be loud. They're going to be nasty. They're going to be all over the place, but we've got to do what we've got to do and continue to stay together, buy into what we're doing, and we'll be just fine.
Why is there so much hostility? I don't know if you'd call it hate or anger.
It's a rivalry game, and I think the rivalry, especially in the last couple of years, has really revamped itself. Utah State has had a great tradition, and they're a great team. We respect them. We know that they're going to come play hard, be a physical team, and really try to take it right down to the wire. I mean, you look at the last 3-4 years, it's been right down to the wire with them, just like the Utah game. So I don't know if it's hate, but it's just a rivalry game, and that's what happens in rivalry games.
When you were getting recruited, it was probably more acceptable, right, back in Cache Valley if you didn't go to Utah State. They weren't as strong. Do you get any inclination it's tougher for a kid now to leave that?
I don't think so. I mean, if a kid has an opportunity to go play, people are going to be happy for him. I've been lucky to have tremendous support from family and friends in Cache Valley. Obviously, they would have loved for me to play at Utah State, and it would have been a cool experience. But I've loved every second I've had at BYU. I've grown so much. Thankful to the coaches, thankful to everyone around me, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. That doesn't mean I still have some Aggie blood, like I said, but at the same time, I'm through and through a Cougar.
From what you've seen, what have been your impressions of this year's version of the Aggies?
They're a great team. Every dude tries their very, very best on every play. They've lost a couple games that are really close, and so we have to be prepared for anything. And we know they're going to come play hard, and we're going to try to do the same.
What do you remember about here instead of there? Was it because of Bronco's reputation for how he treated walk-ons?
No, well, I didn't get recruited a lot there. They were going through a coaching change at the time I was getting recruited. Coach Mendenhall did a great job of recruiting me here, and so that's what it came down to, is where I could have the best opportunity to play. Coach Anderson did a great job up there and is now doing a great job at Wisconsin. And Coach Wells is picked up right where Coach Anderson left off. And so I'm happy for them, but at the same time, it's a game that I really, really want to win. And not only I really want to win, but this whole team really wants to win.
What do you remember about the last time you guys went up to Logan? Just that whole atmosphere?
It left a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, we lost to a team that outplayed us. Plain and simple, they outplayed us that night. But I mean, the return that I had didn't mean a whole lot. In the game setting, it was one of the better plays in the game, but we weren't able to win, and so it didn't mean very much.
JD, you talk about returns. You had your ups and downs last week. Coach came out publicly, gave you full support. What does that do for you, having him publicly give you a vote of confidence?
It means a lot, because he could have easily taken me out. He could have easily lost confidence in me. And so it boosts my confidence tremendously to have him continue to have my back. And that's what every coach here does. They know we're going to make mistakes. They continue to try to lift us up and correct us at the same time. But it's at the same time, to have Coach Mendenhall's confidence in me like that means a whole lot.
What are some of the similarities and maybe the differences in the Utah State and the Utah rivalry games?
They're both hostile environments. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be all over us, and that's what we love. We love to compete in environments like that. We love to go in and play our very best when we play tough opponents. And so it's going to be a hostile environment, but at the same time, it's going to be a game that's going to have a lot of emotion, and we got to be able to keep that in check and just execute, and we'll be just fine.
Do you watch much tape on returns?
Sure.
Probably doing offense. What
Yeah.
are you looking for?
Well, first off, I look at their kicker, what he does. I look at their cover guys and see who's their best cover guy, and then go from there. But once we get into game day, it's all about feel and catching the ball first, which I obviously didn't do a great job of last week, and that falls completely on my shoulders. But as long as we catch the ball and do our blocking assignments, we'll be just fine.
Because you do it a lot in practice, and it's still sunlight out,
Yeah.
and then you guys get these night games. Is
Sure.
that a different
No,
element there?
it's really not. For me to say that the night or whatever, the left-footed kicker had an influence would be false. I still have to catch the ball. So
Much was made of you guys had lost to Utah 3 in a row and how badly you guys wanted that. Would you put this on that same level?
yeah, pretty close, especially for me because it's going home. But every game I have to treat the same. Of course, some of them might. It's hard to say mean more because they all mean a lot to me. But this one has a little extra oomph into it just because I'm going home and I'm going to play in front of all my family and friends probably for the last time because they had such an impact on my life growing up. And so to be able to go back to my hometown and see everybody and play for them and play in front of them is a cool deal.
Your folks still live there?
Yeah, yep.
In Smithfield?
Smithfield, yep.
Do you see this rivalry getting bigger, especially with the Utah series kind of going away for a couple
Sure.
years?
Yeah, especially for the next couple of years where we don't play Utah. I think it's one of I think it is our biggest rivalry, to be honest. We would love to play Utah, obviously, and I know the guys are feeling bad about not being able to play them, but at the same time, we'd love to play Utah State every single year.
Have you gotten to tour their facilities and everything?
Yeah,
Is it different
when
than
I
you were
when I
growing
go
up
back there, yeah, when I was getting recruited, I was able to see a bunch of them. But when I go back home, I can go see them and see friends up there and stuff like that, and they're top notch, and they're some of the best in the country. And so they've done a great job of doing that for their recruiting sake and for their players, and I'm happy for them.
Is that a concern for you, or when you go to home, basically, and people probably want to say hi to you on the sidelines? Is that a concern, or
No, because I try to stay focused and let everything else happen. I mean, there's people all over that are trying to say hi, and you have to tune them out. And it's no disrespect to them. I mean, they're trying to be nice. At the same time, you have to be focused. And so anywhere I go, it's try to be the same way, whether that's Utah State or Houston or wherever we are.